This really needs to stop, eh? Now seriously, these actions really need to stop, because presidents and event organisers of these actual car clubs have had a gutful, and if it continues with these actions that you just saw then, a lot of these events will be shut down and they'll never happen again, because those event organisers don't want to have to deal with insurance costs and medical bills for people who are actually injured at these events. Thanks for tuning in to Curtis LSA TV, and for those that are new here, my name is Matt. In today's video I'm going to go over a couple of recent events in Queensland, Australia, and also Australia, but more specifically Queensland, because I'm from Queensland, as you can see from the number plate there. Story goes, car show event happens, lots of people, car enthusiasts there talking about the cars, family fun, friends, kids running around, lots of food stores, lots of fun, lots of laughs. You get jealous talking to other car enthusiasts. I know this because I've been to a lot of car meets. People tell you what they've done to their car. They've got more power than you, or looks better. So you walk away thinking, oh, this is going to cost me another $5 grand. So the event is fine, nothing happens there. But what's happening is people are leaving the event, which they quite obviously need to do because the event's over, going out into the streets, standing around watching people leave the actual event and watch the cars leave the event. Now there's no law against people standing and loitering on streets at a car meet that's finished. If there is, please show me that in the link in the, please show me that in the comments below. There's no law against people doing that, but what's happening is you get a couple of people who think they know how to control their car, trying to show off, and you also get people who are standing at the actual exit of the actual car show with their phones out, egging people on like this. Fists out, waiting for people to do an actual skid or a burnout. Yelling out in bogan terms, do a CUNT skid, I won't say the full word because YouTube don't like it, or in non-bogan terms, do a skid CUNT. Now for the abbreviation of that word, people will know exactly what it means. So a couple of recent car shows in Queensland themselves, what's happened is a show off or a try hard has been egged on and or not egged on, trying to show off to people who are loitering and standing around the exits, revving their car up, doing burnouts. They're losing control because they can't handle their own vehicle, crashing into barriers, and unfortunately at one incident a few months ago, an innocent bystander watching the nice cars leave the show has been hit and unfortunately injured. Now here's a bit of a longer video of what's actually happening at these car meets at the end, which I've showed you at the start of the video a little bit, but here's a longer part of it.
Yesterday morning at around 9 o'clock, following a hoon meet for a charity event.
Now that video was courtesy of a mainstream media outlet. I've put the actual title during that clip there. Now they've actually said that was a Gold Coast hoon meet. It wasn't actually a hoon meet at all, right? It was just a cars and coffee meet on a Saturday morning, whereas unfortunately there was a couple of hoons who actually went to that meet and caused that incident, right? So it was not a Gold Coast hoon meet, it was a cars and coffee meet. So let's get that out there and straight right now. It was not a hoon meet. There was unfortunately a couple of hoons who went to that cars and coffee meet. And in that incident, these people weren't actually egging them on. A lot of people were standing around loitering at the exit of the actual event, and this guy in this BMW has crashed into a barrier. Luckily, people were standing behind the barriers and didn't get too severely injured. There was one person apparently reading the report that actually did get injuries, but I've heard now recently they've actually recovered from them, so they're alive and kicking, but they were actually injured in that video. It was lucky most of the people were standing behind the actual barriers, because it could have been worse. Now, I'm not the police, I'm not the law enforcement. Me doing this video is not going to stop people doing that. I've never stated that I was, and I never stated that it will do that, stop people doing this. But I've been chatting with a couple of presidents and event organisers after recent actions and events that have happened at their car shows. They've had a gutful. They're actually talking about never actually holding an event again, which is unfortunate because of the actions of a few people. Now, do you really want to have the guilty conscience of actually doing this type of action, leaving a car event, trying to show off, not knowing how to handle your own vehicle, doing skids, burnouts, crashing into barriers, and then unfortunately, let's hope not, hitting someone and injuring them, and worst case scenario, causing a death, right? We believe that you don't want to have that guilty conscience. Now, I've been chatting to the presidents and the owners of Northside Car Culture Incorporated, so they have given me authorization to do this and say this in my actual video. So before the troll comments start, I'm not profiteering from these actual actions on recent events. I actually have authorization to say this. So they're actually creating a fundraiser and also a possible car event for a lot of car clubs to come together in a few weeks, whenever that is, to raise funds to pay for insurance and injury and medical costs from, unfortunately, someone who was injured during these actions at a recent car event quite a few weeks ago. So I'll put the link in the description below. If you've got a spare few dollars, I'll be donating some money. If you want to donate to that fundraiser, and or if you're in the Queensland area and got a spare few minutes when the event is organised, come down, bring your car, show everybody what you've got. But yes, please check out the link in the description below for that actual fundraiser and actual event which could be organised. Now, some people that are watching the video may say to me, oh, we don't know what you're talking about, I can do a burnout if I want to up the street, that's not your problem. Well, yeah, it's not my problem, right? But what we're trying to say here is that these events and meets and car shows are not going to continue because of your actions if you're doing it. So what these organisers and presidents of car clubs are saying is, please continue to come to these events. I'd love to get you to these events. The more people, the more exposure it brings to them. But what it is doing is that what they are saying is, come to these events, but don't do these actions when leaving these events or the actual event themselves, because if it continues with these actions, right, these events will no longer happen, and then you, the person that's doing that, won't have any area to actually do it in. So yeah, please listen to that. 99.999% of people going to car club events and meets are doing the right thing. It's that 0.0001% that's doing the wrong thing that causes it all to be shut down. Do you really want to be the person with the guilty conscience that does this type of thing, closes all events down, and then unfortunately injures someone? I'm pretty sure you don't. So if you've made it this far in the video and you like what you see, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing. And as always, my name is Matt and you've been watching Curtis LSA TV.